What's going on? I'm Sam Vinson. I'm from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. I go to Highlands High School. I'm a senior, and I'm committed to play basketball at Northern Kentucky University.
It's getting serious on this track, fam.
All right, Sam, welcome to What's in Your Bag. Now, you're one of the best players in the state of Kentucky, and you've grinded to get to that level. You know, you weren't, born like 6'6" and have all these crazy talents. You really developed that. So coming on this show, one of the things that we like to do is have the person bring in 3 items that represent their journey, one of which has to be a pair of shoes. And then the other 2 items could be whatever you want. Now, his items are a surprise to me, so I never know what someone's going to bring in. So I'm very excited to see what you've brought in so we can learn a little bit more about your journey in basketball. So let's start with the shoes.
All right.
See what you have. You know I'm a shoe guy.
These are beat up. They're
Okay.
Beat up. Wore them
probably
all
a
last
reason
year.
why.
Wore them all last year for hoop season.
Okay. All right. They are beat up. Do
Real
they?
beat up.
We got a little.
Smell?
We got a
They
little. They smell like you play a lot of games in them.
I have played a lot of them.
All right. So tell us about these. What shoes are these?
These are Paul George's.
Okay.
Thirds. Really, I loved hooping in these. They're a light shoe. I love my light shoes to hoop in. They did give me some bounce. Not gonna lie, they did give me some bounce.
We're gonna talk about your bounce here in a minute.
And I loved hooping them. They're one of my favorite for sure.
Now you talked about them being light. Why is it important for you to have a light shoe? And is that because of how you play on the court?
I just love light shoes, so I don't feel like my feet are being dragged down I like to be as quick as I can, and light shoes help me really just perform quicker and stuff like that.
What's your go-to move? Like when you're wearing these shoes, what's your go-to move?
I love a little hezzy, and then after the hezzy cross.
Okay.
Those are the 2.
Pull up?
Hezzy, pull up, hezzy cross to a layup, anything really.
Dunk?
Of course, dunk.
Let's talk about your bounce.
All right.
If anyone goes on your Instagram or sees any of your highlights, they'll see you have an incredible bounce right now. Did you always have that, or is that something you had to work at?
That was something I had to work at. Like 2 years ago when we were playing, I told you, I said, I'm going to come back after this summer.
You did.
And I'm going to be bouncy. And I just worked. I started getting in the weight room, getting bigger. I got this vertical program that I started. It's called Vert Shock Elite or something like that.
Okay.
And that really helped me, and then I grew. And that all just came together, and that's when I really started jumping higher.
Now, how tall are you now?
6'4", 6'5".
Okay. So a lot of young players, at a young age, 8th grade, freshman, you hear a lot of them talk about, I want to be able to dunk.
Yeah.
And you were one of those guys.
Yep.
Now, here's the difference, though. A lot of young players that I encounter talk about wanting to dunk, and they work at it, and it doesn't happen. They don't reach that level. You've reached that level. And, on your Instagram, or highlights, there's ones of you tip dunks,
Yep.
coming down the lane, getting monster dunks. And like you said, you worked at that. Now, other areas of your game, what have you improved on in other areas of your game? Because obviously these shoes are beat up, and if people can see him, he's got holes in the back here. It looks like somebody chewed on them or animal. You've put in some work in these shoes. Talk about that grind and the work just on the basketball court that you've done.
Just on the basketball court, every day really, just trying to get my handles tighter, my handles quicker, and then really trying to be working on my three-point shot, just getting it more consistent.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten stronger, so my finishing around the rim has been a lot better. And then putting that all together with my pull-up jump shot that I've been working on, getting to the mid-range, 15 feet out, and just hitting that shot. Just trying to get my whole game more consistent, being the best I can be.
And if you think about the way the game of basketball is going, especially at the collegiate level, your style of play really fits into this type of game now. When you get to college, and tell everyone where you're going.
Northern Kentucky University.
When you get to Northern Kentucky, what do you envision them doing with you in regards to position, style of play, and what they'll have you do so that you and the team will be successful?
I mean, right now their style of play, they like to run fast, shoot a bunch of threes, and just rebound and get going. And that's something that I really like to do. I like to go fast, don't stop, and just keep on going. And so when I get there, I feel like I can play on the ball, off the ball, 1 or 2 or 3, and just really try to propel them forward and getting more Horizon League championships.
There you go. So back to these beat-up shoes.
Yep. Yep.
So last season was really, one of your coming out parties in regards to Sam Vinson really getting on the scene, your recruitment really starting to pick up, especially this summer.
Yep.
In these shoes, I'm sure you had some big games.
I did.
Can you tell us about maybe 1 or 2 big games?
Louisville Eastern. We were playing down in Louisville for a Christmas tournament. It's the championship game. We won one the night before that, so it was just a 2-game tournament. And we're playing Louisville Eastern. I come out there, I'm just feeling good already. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling good. And I go on a hit 44 points that game.
44.
44. And then another game, Louisville Wagner. It was up at our place. It was another Christmas tournament championship. And I came out that game again, put up another 40 bomb, and it was back-to-back Saturdays.
Wow. So teams in Louisville don't want to see you. They don't want that smoke. They're like, this dude's going to drop 40. How many times did you drop 40 in a game last season?
3 times.
3 times?
Yep.
Wow.
3 times.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Yep.
So did you feel like after you score 40, and I assume your team won?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Okay, so not only do you play well, but more importantly, your team wins. Do you then feel like, man, all this work I've put into it is really starting to pay off?
Yeah, you can definitely say that. I mean, after a big game like that, you just sit down for a while and just like, I've gotten to my point where I'm at, and like you're proud of yourself for doing that.
Do you think, and these are Paul George's shoes, do you actually watch Paul George play? Do you mimic anything he does, or is it just you like his shoes?
I watch him play. I don't really try to mimic anything he does. I like him as a player. I'm not like a huge fan or anything, but I just like his shoes too.
Who's the one player you say, this is the guy I kind of watch and steal stuff from?
Man, I really like DeJounte Murray from the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, just the way he plays. He likes to get out on the break. He's bouncy. He gets up around the rim. He's got a nice mid-range. And just not a lot of people know who he is, but
true.
I'm a fan of him.
That's cool. I like that.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the next thing in your bag.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to move these back over here because they smell. So I'm going to move them.
They don't
They don't smell that bad. They don't smell that bad. All right, what's the next thing in your bag?
All right, next thing is a jersey.
Okay.
Game time, number 3. Last name on the back. Game time, that was my AAU team growing up, so it's really when I first started playing.
Okay.
Getting into AAU, and it was just a group of us, all from Highlands, basically.
Okay.
In Northern Kentucky, we had some 2 Beechwood kids, the rest were Highlands, and then this is just the base of what I've came from. I feel like that starting with that this is where I came from, and just game time was the team growing up.
And so the importance, and one of the things about this that makes me think about your game is you see some players that during the basketball season they put in the time, but when the basketball season's over, they don't put in the time. Yeah. In some cases, maybe it's a young man's playing another sport. In your case, you were playing a lot in the off season.
Yep.
How much of that attributed to your success today?
Really, basketball has been like all year round for me, basically. I mean, I played sports growing up, played baseball, football. Played football up till my sophomore year, and then that's when I was like, all right, I just want to stop, focus on basketball, have a longer off season where I can really just grind. So I feel like quitting football my sophomore year really helped me propel myself because I just had more time to be in the gym and put in the work that I needed to do.
Now, from Game Time, Shining Star,
Yep.
AAU that you played for, Highlands, then NKU, you'll be wearing that jersey. Do you think about playing professionally after NKU? Have you thought about that? Because, and there are different levels to the professional game NBA, G League, overseas. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I have. I always thought about that growing up too. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to make money playing the game. So after NKU, I hope I can get a chance to just go play professionally. If it's overseas, NBA maybe, just it's really been a dream. So yeah.
I think you'll have an opportunity after you finish at NKU. All right, let's check out this third and final item in Sam Vinson's
All right,
bag.
last item.
Uh-oh.
It's this little throwback picture.
Oh, we got a pic.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's you?
Yep.
Wow. We'll have to make sure we get this, blown up here on the camera. So talk to us about this picture. Why is this picture important, and why'd you select this?
That's just my family, and I feel like the person I am today is because of them, and they support me through everything I do. They've taken me to every single tournament, every game. If they can make it there, they haven't missed a single one. So I mean, I'm just really thankful for them supporting me, and they've really helped me become the person I am.
So why don't you shout out your family here? Your father?
My dad.
And your mother. What are their names? Tell everybody.
Ed and Debbie Vinson.
Okay. And then we've got some siblings here.
Yep, my sister Rachel Vinson, and then my little brother Nathan Vinson.
And what's your sister do?
She's at NKU right now. She graduates in December. This
Okay.
December. So. Yep, and then my brother, he plays basketball just like me, and I mean maybe he'll be as good. Who knows?
And he's a
freshman.
Okay, so he's got some big shoes to fill.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you talked about your family and really how they helped you become the person you are today. If I could say one thing about you, it's you're a high character person. And I think in basketball, if you look at a lot of the best players in the game right now, whether it's the college level, NBA, not only are they good skill-wise, can get things done on the court, but you look at the type of person they are off the court, and I think that plays into how good they are on the court. You look at LeBron James, the things he's doing off the court are tremendous, building schools for inner city children in Akron, and all the things he's doing off the court. And I can kind of go on and on about different players, but you're a high character guy, and you bring that back to your family. Is that a conversation you have with your family? Do your mother and father tell you, hey, Sam, this is how you're supposed to act? Like if you score a point and you're like doing all the dancing, they're like, no, you can't do that. What are those conversations like?
I mean, just as a kid, they've taught me how to the right things to do. They taught me the right things to do, and that correlates onto the court. I mean, they don't say don't do any of the dances or anything. I don't do that.
You don't do that.
Yeah. I like to keep it just calm on the court. I'm a calm person, and really they've just taught me to do the right thing on and off the court, and then it's just what I try to do.
You said something, you're calm on the court, and I will say that's very true. You're kind of even keel, right? So you've got this kind of smoothness to you on the basketball court. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I've always been like that. I mean, on the court, I don't show that much emotion.
You don't? You never seem rattled?
Never. And then I just think I just got to stay calm in myself, and that helps me play better. So you'll never see me going out there yelling in someone's face or anything like that. I like to keep it calm and collected, and that's just who I am.
So I want to ask you this question. Michael Jordan, all right, in one of his books after he finished playing, he talked about when he came back to the game of basketball, and he was playing for the Washington Wizards, and he was highly criticized for coming back to the Wizards. Everyone's like, why would you come back when you ended your career on like one of the greatest walk-off shots against Utah, like you're going to ruin your career? And he talked about coming back and playing for the love of the game in his terms, like, I could do this for me, not for anybody else. But what struck me about his time in Washington, he said he knew it was really time to hang it up when he wasn't nervous before games. And so the person writing the book pressed him on that. It was like, wait a minute, you're the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. You've averaged the most points in the history of basketball in a season. How are you nervous? And he was like, all through my career, I would always get a little nervous before games. And he goes, that always really drove me. And when I wasn't nervous in Washington, I knew it was time to go. When you play the game, as good as a player you are, you've played in some really big games, do you get nervous?
For every game I do. I mean,
Now, I'll talk about that because a lot of players won't admit to that
Yeah.
and won't talk about that. So dive into that.
just, I don't even know. Just every game, you get a little butterfly in your stomach or two.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It shows you care and that you're ready to get out there and play. And just even if it's a big game or a small game for me, if it's the district championship or if it's just a normal game, I still get butterflies in my stomach and I get nervous before the game. But I mean, that helps me out on the court because it motivates me to go more and push harder and stuff.
Yep, you treat every game the same then.
Yep.
So looking at your 3 items real quick, just to kind of bring everything back together, what I've kind of gathered here in my mind is, you know, you look at the grind with your shoes. They're dirty and all that stuff, so there's a grind there. And then with this jersey, you go back to your roots of kind of when you started and what brought you there. And then you really get back to your roots with your family and how they've, you know, created the person that you are today. So I think the 3 items you brought in are perfect because they do really represent who you are. Not only a great basketball player that's grinded your way to where you are, but also the high character, you know, person you are. So I think these were great items. I wish you the best of luck this season. I know you're going to drop some more 40 bombs on teams
50.
from Louisville. Maybe 50?
Maybe 50.
Man, if you drop 50, man, I might have to get you some new shoes. We'll make that a deal?
That's a deal.
I'll get you some shoes if you drop 50 in a game. And you guys win, but you got to win.
All right.
Okay,
That's
you got to win. And my hope too is all the grind that you've put in. Hopefully, you have an opportunity to be in position to win Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky, because I think that would be a huge honor for you, and your family would really love that.
Yeah, I would.
Yep. Well, I want to thank you for coming on What's in Your Bag and showing us what's in your bag.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man.